we tried to change too many things at once and listen to everyone. We just clouded our judgment a bit. You can't do that.
What are certain things you cannot compromise?
Cannot compromise music quality. Cannot compromise. We're outdoor. But we like to make things difficult for ourselves. So must be outdoors.
So I think for us, this is really, we've been very honest that this is like a sort of make or break.
This one is make or break.
Yeah, because I think,
When we first came, right, I was like, are you doing this as full-time? And then, right, I realized like a lot of us do our full-time job. And then we decided that, okay, you know what? I think we got enough saved up. Let's chase our passion, right? Then suddenly Trump has this high tariff shit going on. I don't really know a lot about tariffs, but I know it kind of is like a negative thing for the rest of the world. How do you all view this? And then when you all are doing this, pursuing art, right, it's not actually the most stable form of work, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the tariff situation. Like how qualified I am to talk on that, but I think I think it's hard. Like obviously working in creative industries, you obviously have to start from a place of like wanting to do it because you love it. I think slowly, I mean, all of us have, at the start of the journey, we're kind of working full time in other things. And now I think pretty much all of us are like,
all in, man.
All in some shape or form. So not all in necessarily just on our own events, but all in the industry in terms of trying to make our rice bowl through music, through events, through consulting in that industry as well. So like we're all kind of like freelancing, doing various things, working on multiple projects. Not just our own, obviously. I think but. Yeah, it's been fun trying to navigate that journey over the last 5 years. I think everyone's had to kind of slowly phase out of what they were kind of doing full time before.
Yeah. Before this, right, can you all give us like a brief description of your background? Like what's your full-time job before you like dive in full-time with this like creative endeavor as like a serious thing?
Yeah, I mean, I was working in tech, so I was working for startups, and then left my job to get my master's. And then after that, made the transition to working in the creative field. So it was a long journey to get there. But yeah, here we are. So
yeah, I think all of you are in your 30s or something, right?
Yeah.
Then Bong, I think you're like quite similar to me.
Yeah,
right? We just
you must
all
know
in
my
music.
story lah.
Yeah.
Record store, then I'm here.
Yeah, lor. So the same lah, I got like engineering degree, then I got engineering degree, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a broke-ass musician, let's go! 15 years later, I'm like, oh shit, am I doing the right thing? And all this tariff shit coming, I'm like, What about yourself?
I started in the sports media world. So I was working for like a sports TV broadcaster when I first started my career, and then kind of stayed in that space for like 3 years. But by that point, we had started doing small events with Ice Cream Sundays, and through that, got to know a few people who were kind of working in the general like events and entertainment industry, and just kind of took a leap of faith and joined someone who I work closely with now. But I worked for him for about a year and a half. And they were doing all sorts of street festivals, big kind of public space activations and stuff. So that was like my first introduction professionally into this world. Had just been like dipping my toe into it before that.
Yeah, and I like that this is actually not a very common occurrence in Singapore. I think maybe overseas quite common, right? But usually in Singapore, you get into the nightlife scene by liking nightlife and wanting to be a DJ, then you get into nightlife, right? But you guys is like organizer, more of like administrative first before you like dive into DJing and all that. Would you say that's accurate?
For me, I came in on the DJing side. These guys were already established, like already kind of pretty established at what they was doing. By the time I came along.
Yeah. I mean, for me, my first job in music was actually at a record label. So I was kind of doing marketing, radio promotion for them. And then through that kind of met a lot of music people, and that's when I learned how to DJ. So it kind of came hand in hand. Yeah.
Is it in Singapore, the record label?
I was in LA. It was Ultra Music.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
The fuck, man. Oh my god. What the hell? Yeah, the other day I was like just talking to Mern, like, oh my god. Back then, like 2019, he has his like album, right, In Search of Solitude or something.
Yeah.
It's by Ultra Music,
right?
Yeah.
So that was back in 2014. So it's been some time, but
wow, damn, that's damn long ago. Holy shit, you look damn young.
33.
Oh, damn. Okay. Yeah, so we can go a little bit from back to the beginning. Ice cream Sundays, right, is where it all started, right? Yeah. What was the idea behind it? And it wasn't very common for people when you first started to do like day-ish party, right? It's like nightclub, it's like night event, you know, it's like the main thing. Then trending, you know, you guys are like literally like setting the trend. Yeah.
I think it was just like, yeah, we felt there wasn't a lot in terms of like day parties happening at the time when we came back.
Yep.
Because like Jake and I both grew up in Singapore. Well, I mean, I grew up here since I was like 2. I think Jake came
I moved here when I was like 13. And then
yeah.
So, I tell you what, I know already.
But yeah, it was just like, I don't know, we have I mean, people would argue it's too hot, but I feel like we have the weather for day parties, and I think it was just something that we just wanted to try, you know, like we started on someone's rooftop in Geylang. It was like a friend who lived in a duplex.
Isn't it like nearby here, right?
Yeah, very close to here, like Gillamard Road.
All right.
And so we tried, like, I think the first one was like 50 people. It was just like friends and
68.
friends.
It was 68
Yeah,
people.
Damn. So it was just like, we were just like, you know, let's try something. We didn't have a vision beyond one event. Like, it was just like, let's just do this and see how it goes. And then only after the first event did we decide, okay, well, like, let's try again. And just like keep going from there. Like, keep it small scale, keep it fair. It was like semi-private, I would say, because like we weren't, you know, we weren't really we weren't a registered company or anything at the time. So, you know, in terms of like doing it in like licensed premises, like we couldn't do it at the time. So
really started out as like friends and friends of friends.
Yeah.
Like we probably could have named half of the people in the room, right? Like,
I mean, it was like a glorified barbecue, basically.
yeah.
It was like Sunday, daytime, like a bit of food, drinks, music. It was maybe like less dancey than it is now. I think that element of it really grew over time as we got into bigger venues.
Yeah.
And previous podcast with Bongo, right? He shared some difficulties when you're faced when you are trying to like take this more seriously to the next level, right? Did that difficulty happen, right, only when you were deciding to expand into Sunda Music Festival, or did it already begin, right, when it was still Ice Cream Sunday day party?
I mean, I think it's been a learning curve over the years for sure. I mean, Ice Cream Sundays is about to turn 9. And so it's seen like, you know, starting from like a rooftop party, it's definitely seen several stages of evolution. You know, so I think it was already kind of picking up momentum before COVID. And then after the pandemic, when we came back, we introduced a lot more elements as well. So like, you know, kind of putting in more effort in terms of like the production, the lighting, and so on. And so with every new phase, we've had to like, you know, learn a lot more. We've had to bring in new people with different expertise. So it's like, definitely a constant learning process. But then you're right, like when we did Sunda for the first time, it was like the learning curve went from like this to like vertical, right?
What the hell? So for Ice Cream Sundays, you are usually handling like 50 to maybe 300 people, something like that, right? Then Sunda is like times 10.
No, I mean, ICS now is about 1,000 to 1,200 people.
Damn! Okay.
So actually, the challenge is not, so a lot of people think it's the scale, but actually like at a typical day at Sunda, the size of the crowd is not wildly different from ICS, right? Like last year, I think we had almost 1,500 on the first day. So that was more, and that's obviously a learning curve in itself, but the challenge was the site. It's like we're running, you know, ICS is always like one stage, a dance floor, a bar area, and a food store. Like it's very simple format. Whereas Sunda is like, you know, the first year we had 3 stages, we had 4 food vendors, we had like different activities areas, and it's dotted over a much bigger site. So there's way more coverage that you need in terms of just like security, cleaning, all that kind of stuff. So logistically, it was just way harder, even though it wasn't necessarily like way bigger in terms of scale. But the challenges felt like, they felt like tenfold, you know, even though the number of people isn't like wildly different. So, it's just like crazy learning curve. And even doing it now, like planning it for the second time, like, you know, you learn some things and some things get easier, but you're always still finding new challenges kind of along the way.
In my previous podcast with Bongo, again, right, we discussed this thing that most people don't even think of, waste disposal fee.
Oh, yeah.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah,
or have you all
definitely.
used the Ultra Music Festival tip? Yeah.
What did we say about that? It was just like
So, okay,
some
it's like-
crazy expense that
It's
I
like
would have never
fucking
thought.
expensive
Yeah,
to do waste
yeah.
disposal.
Yeah.
I think we
10,000
actually
or
we're
something.
saving a bit on it this year, though, right? We found a good vendor that's like a little bit
Yeah.
less pricey. So
Yeah, so the tip was like Ultra. I don't know if you go to the festival site, right? They'll be like, hey, volunteer to be like the pick up trash, and we'll give you free entry.
Yeah.
Then you can work in shift, like you don't even work the whole festival, you know.
Yeah.
So they stagger people, then they still can enjoy the festival.
Yeah.
Free labor.
I've done shit like that also. Speaker
Yeah.
rubbish. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's fun. You get to listen to the music as well.
Yeah.
Then they include them in the music after movie, you know. Somebody pick up rubbish while shuffling at the same time,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
whoa, picking up rubbish, cool, bro. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one idea.
That was my first shift as a volunteer, actually. I picked up rubbish at a festival in Melbourne. It was fun.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
help
you
you.
You just go
win-win,
to the
man.
stage you want to go to, you
Yeah.
dance while picking up rubbish, people start helping you. and it's like-
Yeah.
yeah.
What's up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, plur, man, plur.
But yeah, I think.
Plur, bro.
But yeah, I think just like the things that are expensive. Like there are some things that people know are expensive, right? Like artist costs are expensive. Everyone knows that. Staging is always expensive. AV, everyone knows it. But there are certain things that people don't realize that are incredibly expensive. And you know, so what goes into covering the cost of a festival is a lot more than people think. But yeah, we do actually have a strong volunteer program as well.
Nice.
We don't ask them to do the cleaning because we try and leave that to the professionals. But we do have a lot of volunteers who help with, you know, things like checking people in, taking payments at the bar and things like that. So yeah, we actually have a really good volunteer community, and that's something that we're pretty proud of.
Right. And artist fee, very expensive, right? But I think you guys are in the niche where you are not hit as hard as compared to like main stage festival, right? Do you think so?
Yeah, definitely living in the undergroundish kind of tier of booking fees. I mean, we really only have like 3 headline fee slots like that. The rest are like regionals and friends from here.
Yeah, I think the artist cost, like, I mean, it's like per artist. Obviously, we're operating at a tier where, we want it to be a little bit of like a discovery-based festival. I think what we like, we like going to festivals ourselves where, obviously you like to know a few people who might be playing. But I think, we love going to festivals where we discover people that might become our next favorite DJ or band. And I think, it's finding the balance of, established names and people that we think people will engage with. In terms of the cost, it's not so much the individual artist costs. It's more like the volume of programming, we have, I think, 37 artists playing.
Oh, is it? Does it actually counts?
So we have two stages that are on all day, and then we have one kind of I wouldn't call it a stage. It's like a more kind of chill out area.
It is a lounge.
The ambient music at night.
It is an ambient lounge.
Yeah.
Like the day activity starts from 12.
The day activities actually start as
I see
early
the
as
wild
11.
pearl ice plunge thing. I was like aiming for that.
Yeah, totally. That's one of the better ones to do.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
But yeah, the morning program starts as early as 11. We got like movement meditation, stuff like that. But then the first music comes on at 10. So,
10,
I mean, 10 a.m.
On the second day.
It's really just for the campers, but the morning vibe is always really cute at Sarimbun.
Oh, right. You can camp overnight.
Yeah.
Sarimbun Scouts camp, my worst nightmare.
Yeah,
actually been there, not for fun. Oh my god, guys! I'm a scout for 10 years. That's like
Oh, really?
I go back there, I'm like,
oh man.
wow, dude, I cannot punish so much there, man. It's crazy.
Oh, well,
It's a
hopefully
very
we
leisurely.
can like
Today is
redefine
different.
the
It's
place
different.
for you.
It's not that World War II thing, Yeah. But yeah, Sarimbun Scouts Camp, wow, I want to get into that, man. There's so many things, but okay, one thing, right, that I remember I want to ask, right, is that artists, right, you are multiple stages, multiple programmings at one time, right? How do you like stagger the artists? Because you want to line the artists up, right? It's really quite difficult because, like, for example, this guy can play a certain sound. You see him on YouTube, right? He's playing this certain sound. But then on the day itself, he just don't feel like he plays something else. You also cannot control, right?
Yeah.
So as a booker, you need to kind of know the artist's range.
Yeah.
But it's easier if you're doing one stage. But imagine you got 4 stage and then how you gonna stagger them.
Yeah.
You know? What was
Actually,
the thought
with our festival, we got it kind of easy because we only have 2 running concurrently, but they run for the exact same amount of time. But they have very different concepts. So like the Jurong stage is where we have our live bands and live electronic artists, and then some DJs at the end. Actually, the big DJs at the end. And then at the Nomad stage is where we have your local cats and some collective takeovers, and then some regionals as well. But all DJs only.
Right.
So I guess the programming is staggered in a way that allows for changeovers and sound checks to happen at the live stage. And then, like the flow will be like, you go see a band and then, cool, that was sick. And then you notice the background music gets turned on and then you see stuff changing on the stage. So you go wander off to the other stage. There's some timing in between. Like there's like a 1 hour break in between bands, basically.
Okay, that's a lot more complicated.
I mean, but obviously we think about the flow as well, like musical flow first.
Yeah.
So it makes there's a musical journey lah, of course, like fun, kind of uplifting daytime stuff, and then we go more party with kick drums.
Couple driving kind of stuff. They DJ the music, you DJ them, basically.
I mean, it's a full ongoing conversation.
And I think the artists that are playing are also like, at least in most cases, familiar with the person playing before them and the person after them. So I think they also have a role to play in terms of like driving the flow in the direction that they think will be right.
Correct. It has to be very teamwork driven. I always like recall this story, right? When I was doing the quote unquote underground stage of Zook Out, right? With Cold Flow. And then we are like leading up, our final act for the day is Toki Monster or something like that.
Oh wow.
And then we are like quite, we are like, we plan, we don't like main stage play Chainsmoker, everybody play the same song, It has to be that way, so it's like a greater good kind of
100% greater good and a bit of contrast as well. So if like this side, it's going to be dark and heavy, then you don't want the exact same thing going on the other stage. So at the same time, you can't tell DJs what to play, right? You just gotta like trust, and like the trust is kind of magic.
It's also scary, man. The people that don't play ball. I really feel you lah. But I think underground festival, most underground people wouldn't like to call themselves underground, but I would think it's like a little bit more underground as compared to your basic beach club, right? So it's like it's really quite cool kind of sound, and I think the cool audience will be more open minded lah, as compared to like if it's like a cheese festival and then the DJ suddenly decide to play underground, then they'll be like, oh, they cannot take it, it's like better audience, more open minded. And then when it comes to Serembun Scouts Camp, right, how did that even happen? Like, okay, now we are trending is like the trend is like not to DJ at your standard club venue, right? People are like looking to explore, to be wild, and they are seeing like, oh my god, everybody's having such a good experience on TikTok. What about Singapore? But then you all came in with Serembun Scouts Camp, and that's like, wow, huge, dude. How did that even happen? Like, how many proposals you need to write for that to happen? That's crazy.
He knows all about the proposal.
You throw back already.
Actually, it was our partner Florian,
Yeah.
who's based in Hong Kong, and he was like kind of zooming in on different spots on Google Maps, just to see like where he could find pockets of space, because I think one of the big challenges we always have in Singapore is noise, always close to residences. And I think we had actually planned to do the festival at Haw Par Villa in 2020, and then COVID kind of made us have to push that back. And so as we were kind of discussing throughout that time where we couldn't do anything, I think Florian kind of stumbled upon it on Google Maps, and I think I don't know if you'd ever been there as a kid.
No.
When I went to go and recce the venue, I had a weird sense of like deja vu. I feel like I had been there. Maybe like 20 years ago. And so, but yeah, it just felt right. Like when we went there, it had the infrastructure for camping. It was out of the city, which I think is something that we were really keen on, like trying to do something that's a bit less urban. So yeah, and the conversations with them were like actually a lot easier than you would imagine. It was funny because when we approached them, they were like, oh, we were actually thinking of organizing some music events here ourselves, but they felt like they weren't really equipped to do it. So it felt like the right place at the right time. I think it was just like kind of a lot more straightforward than we imagined it would be. But obviously there are always concerns. I think obviously the space is leased out to them by the Ministry of Education. So there was just things to make sure it was a cultural fit with what they're trying to do at the campsite. But we love the venue. It's a big draw for what we want from a festival experience. And I think the camping thing really brings something different to the experience.
Can we discuss a little bit like red tape, because Singapore is like literally the country of red tape, right? And somehow I don't know if Serangoon Scout Camp is quite near to residential area, right? Yeah.
Technically, it's in a residential zone, but there's 0 residences around.
The nearest stuff is military.
So our first application got rejected because by default you're in the wrong zone.
Are these people gonna try again?
So no, you guys gotta ask why.
Don't fly drones there though.
Right.
Yeah.
You cannot apply for like a waiver or something, right?
No, it's
really cannot.
it's actually like the licensing in the end was not
worth it.
It was not too difficult. Like for the event, like we just had to show that we'd obviously thought about getting people home, the medical stuff, security, and obviously done our due diligence on the space in terms of like risk assessment and stuff. So, but the one time we did get in trouble was when we flew a drone to shoot a promo video there, and we had no idea that it was a no-fly zone. And apparently it's because there's a military base nearby. So we quickly got shut down. But everything else has actually been surprisingly, like, we've had a lot less resistance than we thought we would. And I think it's because we made it clear that, we chose the venue because we're not bothering anyone there. And we've made plans for making sure it's safe and getting people home.
And it's not just a party as well, right?
Yeah,
I guess that's the other thing is like, it took a while to get them around the concept of what we were trying to do. And like, of course there's going to be music and dancing and all of that, but like, I think part of what really appealed to them is that it was also like a family friendly programming. We're going to have all this stuff happening during the day that was like, a little bit more wholesome and holistic. So yeah, I mean, I think that kind of helped sway them as well.
Yeah. And the scale as well. Like, I think, in the minds of most people here, when they hear the word festival, it's like, I think you imagine something that's like 10, 15, 20,000 people. I think once we made it clear that we were trying to do something that was more intimate, I think that also helped. I think when we had the first chat with the authorities, they're asking us kind of what the scale was.
Yeah,
and it
was with CNB even.
Yeah. And when we said up to 1,500 a day max, they were like, "Oh wow, that's small." They were like, "Yeah, it's small. It's meant to be small. It's meant to be an intimate experience. Like, we want people to have space. It's not meant to be something where you come and you're packed in like sardines, on a dance floor with 3,000 people. That's not the experience we're looking to achieve. So I think all of these things just help to like soften the stance towards the event. But yeah, I think that dialogue really helps. Sometimes you don't always get the chance to have that dialogue with people. So
I like that you position it in like the wholesome angle, because I was like, editing the video, right? And then I'm like, I need some like Sunda B-roll, man. Then I look at the B-roll, oh my god, got kids, got of all ages. Y'all allow pets also, right?
Actually, no. Unfortunately, I think it would be like a really cute dimension, but
really
I think
cute,
just
potentially danger.
There's
Unvaccinated.
And it's also in the wilderness, right? So it's like, you get also some wildlife there, and I think there's just other elements that we can't fully control.
Exactly. That's what I meant by danger. Like snakes and stuff.
And I think the fact that you can throw an event, right, like in Singapore, is really very tough. So I think it's like starting safe is better. And once you get all the pieces figured out, then you slowly expand, right? That's the way. And from day to night, right, wow, it's actually very long hours. And as event organizers always say, right, try to keep it short, sweet, bang, and then you don't lose people. But from day to night, it's damn scary. I don't know. What are your thoughts
that's
on
one of the things that makes it so different from ICS. Because ICS, it's very straightforward. Start at 3 and we end at 10:30. We're a day party. We don't go late. Sometimes we do after parties, but This is a whole different.
And day party is
Yeah.
awesome. You
experience.
can people cannot give you the excuse, oh, little Grab very expensive.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no Grab, bro.
Yeah.
You can just MRT
You
home.
can take public go home. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, the hours actually, I think, when earlier you were saying that the size of the space completely changes things in terms of how like logistically different it is from a pop-up. The hours is the other thing for me, because like you get into a situation where there's multiple shifts of volunteers coming through, right? So you're briefing like 3 or 4 rounds of volunteers every day. You're waking up at, to open at 10 a.m. and then staying up till 4 a.m. and then doing the same thing the next day. So it's like, it's,
You don't
just
sleep.
in terms of like the,
You don't sleep, you have a power nap.
Yeah.
45 minutes power nap the whole day, and repeat for 1 week.
It's
pretty
really,
much,
it's quite,
Feels like Zook out, man. Crazy.
it's grueling.
Yeah.
It's really grueling.
How was it for you guys doing Zook Out? Like, did you guys stay on site?
Zuka, I'm like assistant of the assistant of the assistant. Basically, I'm like Jeremy Boone assistant, and he's like project
right.
manager. And then he'll be like, okay, this is your stage. You go take care of this stage. I don't really have to be there like all the way, right? So usually their whole team, right? I think they're there like 1 week in advance at the beach.
Okay.
So Jay Boone will be like, okay, toilets are here. Okay, bulldozer dig. Then okay, start build the stage. So it's like, dude, yeah, like 7 days never sleep that kind.
Wow.
Yeah, insane. And then I only like shook. I just show up last day.
Show up on the show day.
You know,
Okay.
I'm the volunteer.
Yeah.
So not very big role. I just make sure people get up on time, and then like because I am also resident of Zouk back then, right? So I'm usually the first guy DJing. So I DJ, and then I'll test out the equipment. Then fortunately I caught the faulty equipment, and then we swapped it out just before I think Cashmere got on.
Right.
Very lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Timing.
Yeah. So and some more that night is like Cashmere, then DJ Snake, if I'm not wrong. So must shift the whole thing out, then become turntable setup. So it must be like super fast. So you have to set up already. Then you just like unplug and change the whole tabletop. Tabletop in, that kind of stuff lah. So I think bigger scale, I think they really have their expertise going on. And Zuka, I don't know how many years already, right? So I think they're quite smooth with that.
Although, did you do a Zook Out last year? I don't remember seeing. They didn't, right?
Yeah. But I'm also not with the company for quite a while already. So I think the activities I'm not quite sure. But I know at its peak, like Zook Out, I think like 40,000 people or something in 2 days. 2 days, 40, 50,000 maybe. Yeah, it's damn big. Yeah. And if you stage manager the 3 stage, right, wow, you literally need to run. It's like it's damn bloody big. Yeah. But like back to like Sunda Music Festival, right, I like the fact that because you have multiple things happening, right, then it's more engaging. Then you can like drag the duration, right? And then people won't feel like it's boring as compared to like one club activity, right? It really is like exploration.
It's
exploration,
definitely
right?
not a one experience thing. Like you make your own adventure.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different things to do for different kinds of people.
I think it's designed to have like the opportunity for people to make their own flow. You know, like where like with the activities, with the different spaces that there are to chill. I think it's really a chance for people to just like manage their energy throughout the day. Like I think also the reason for having long hours is to cater to different demographics. So you do have your party crowd who wants to start late and late. But then for example, we have a fairly sizable family audience as well who if they have younger kids, maybe they need to leave by 8 because their kids need to go to sleep early. So it's really meant for different types of people to have the experience that they want to have.
We can really see that in like our shuttles, because we offer shuttles right to and from the festival. And people get to choose the timing, and the 8 p.m. shuttle is actually surprisingly popular. So there's like a big range. Obviously you can go home at 8, you can go home at 4, and like more people than you would think actually choose like the earlier times.
Go home earlier.
And you think it's it's probably a lot of the family crowd. So that's why we have the extended hours just to manage the flow of people throughout the day.
I forget what I want to ask you, okay, but never mind. Move on to the next question, right? Is I always have this very regular debate with all my like clubbing guys that right now the general trend of clubbing is going down, and we love clubbing. I guess we all like this thing called clubbing from its traditional roots, right? Until it starts to expand to coffee party, day party, that kind of stuff, like different variants of clubbing, right? And Sunda Music Festival is another variant. So would you say now, right, nightclubs should actually shift their hours to earlier, right? To actually start profiting more, right, from this new wave of people don't want to stay late, people reduce alcohol consumption.
Wow, that's a big question.
I think it would be challenging to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends from market to market, I guess, but like, I just think actually clubs would struggle if they tried to open too early and expected a crowd to come. There's a handful that do it, like they do the community night at Rasa, and it's like, you know, there's a specific crowd that goes to that, and so, yeah. But I think for like most clubs, it would probably be pretty tricky. But like, I actually just came from KL and I played at a daytime party at Over and Above.
Yeah.
Which is like a techno club usually. I
Over
think.
and Above is usually like hard techno one, right?
Yeah. So someone, this guy Johnny Vicious, right, from Even If in KL. We collaborated with him for like a daytime party. It was actually very well attended. So I think it probably is quite dependent on the market. But yeah, in the Singapore context, I think it would be a pretty uphill battle to make that like the cultural norm.
I think it depends on the program. If you're doing something different and experimental, maybe some live programming. Yeah, like Rasa's been trying that out on the Sundays. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I like to see where that carries on because the momentum seems like it's building. So that's interesting. But on the other side, like we all still want to see the nightlife side of things succeed.
Yeah.
I think, we're definitely going through a lull. But yeah, it's got to do with a lot more things than like
Consumer behavior.
Yeah.
like I don't know, recession and shit. People are feeling that.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think of what we do as like complementary to club culture rather than alternative to it. You know, I think that people's exposure to club culture has also helped us in many ways, and I think that many people who've been introduced to dance music events in the format that we do it in, I think have also gone on to explore, you know, the different clubs in Singapore and other types of events. So I think both need to exist and both need to coexist in a healthy kind of ecosystem. But yeah, I think for sure, I mean, Jake alluded to Rasa trying more kind of daytime programming, especially on Sundays. And they seem to be really well attended. So there's definitely space for it.
Yeah.
It just, I guess it depends, like Bong said, on the type of programming. I think it's probably something you have to build slowly rather than, you know, kind of going all in on trying to be like a daytime club.
Yeah. I mean, like the genesis of clubbing, right? Since the beginning of time, right? It's really people struggling, and then they want to like take their mind off how hard life is, and then they just get together, dance, get drunk, take drugs, you know. Here we clean one.
Yeah.
So here you can only drink alcohol, but now most people also don't drink alcohol, right? Yeah. So I guess like maybe a new wave will be born through this turbulent time. Yeah.
I mean, I think the market will change, but then like the service, the thing you're providing to solve that problem will evolve as well.
Example.
Like maybe with the next wave of whatever it is, like what people are looking for from a clubbing experience is starting to shift, and I don't know. It's good that music will keep evolving, because otherwise it's like if you keep trying to beat the dead horse, you know, like you can't keep trying to do the same thing and expecting a different result.
Yeah. 50 years ago,
Like-
clubbing is alcohol plus dancing.
Yeah.
Now, clubbing is also alcohol plus dancing. Like we probably have to introduce a third or fourth element into it, right? To kind of like keep it fresh.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to remain relevant, and the expressions gotta change a bit, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, like our format that we did in the Road to Sunda format, we did in October at Haw Villa. So it was 1 day, 1 stage, and it ended at 10:30. So we still had a ton of activities program, but it was a bit more condensed because obviously less space, less time.
Yeah.
But one thing that was really interesting was that, because in my head, I was like, naturally, I feel like condensing the hours and the space means that people will just come party and go. But like 3 weeks before the event, I think Aliwal Chess Club reached out to us and were like, "Can we bring our like neon chessboards to the event?" And in my mind, I was like, intuitively, I thought, okay, well, it's a shorter event. It's like a daytime thing. I feel like people are just going to party and go. But it was really, really popular. Like I think they had 4 or 5 chessboards out, and they were almost always occupied fully by all sorts of people. So like the kids with their parents, like people like our age, our friends. So it was really interesting to see, like when you introduce these other activities and other spaces into the event.
Mm-hmm.
How much like we're not surprised when people engage with it at the festival because it's super long hours. You know, it's multiple days as well, so it's like naturally you think people want to do other things as well. But it was really cool to see, even in a shortened format, that people were kind of dipping in and out of different parts of the space, and I think maybe that's a signal that, you know, people are wanting a more kind of complete experience from a music event.
Do you think the final form is Burning Man?
I think
No money involved, everybody trade. You know, like, whoa, hey, for tariff, right? Fuck, trade, let's go. Yeah. Maybe, right? Yeah, I was like toying with this idea, you know, like, wow, what happens if you do like a 2-day, 3-night event, right? And then you maybe you just come right with a preset amount of stuff, and then all you do is like trade.
And
it's really like what Burning Man, but I think Burning Man is like on steroids, right?
Yeah.
Burning Man is an extreme example of that.
The venue is like one literal.
It's a city,
city,
it's
right?
city,
But at the core of it is a festival to me, like it's like it should be looked at as like a place to experiment and try out ideas, like because otherwise, why are you just gathering a bunch of people?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another thing, right? A couple of weeks ago, I got Joshua P here, and then we are talking about like monetization for clubbing activities or club, right? And we are often faced with, okay, it's just ticket sales and alcohol, but then other industries are not thinking that way. For example, YouTubers, they don't just monetize off views; they also have sponsorships, you know. So how receptive are like sponsors to today's clubbing event? Are they not really want to put in money, or are they okay because you have so many people, many eyeballs?
Dan can tell you about that because he's deals with
sponsorships. I mean, I think I can't speak to the clubbing side of things because we've never operated a club. But I think for the festival, I think we've had a strong reception from brand partners. I think we've been very lucky. We've not really had great success with grants, and so sponsorship money has kind of plugged that gap for us. So I think they've been receptive on the basis that, you know, they recognize that it's something different and unique for the market, and I think that's been a big plus point for us. And I think we've been lucky to work with brands who have also been a bit more receptive to our own feedback about how their activation should be, because I think the biggest thing we've always been concerned about is, you know, no one wants to see like a brand plastered all over your festival.
They don't want to be sold.
I mean? They want to like, how can you work together with the brand to create an experience that fits naturally into the space that you already have? And that's the approach we've been trying to take. Of course, brands always want branding. And I think it's just finding that healthy balance where it's like, okay, the brand gets to achieve what they want at the festival, but they also enhance the experience of the guests rather than take away from it. And I think they are definitely receptive to these kinds of events. And I think it's just about finding something that works for all the stakeholders involved.
Yeah, because of like in comparison, like you see F1, right? Their branding is like everywhere, it's loud, you know. But for us, it's like we don't want. So I don't know. Maybe they can ask for more money because of how blatant the branding is, whereas we are more subtle, so we also cannot ask for so much money, right? Because ours is like you see that kind.
Yeah.
And what is one brand, right? You would say, right, that most people wouldn't think to associate with party or festival kind of stuff, right? But you managed to like kind of convince them to work with you guys. Okay, why I say that, right?
Oatly.
So one of our sponsors is the oat milk brand Oatly.
Okay.
Which they're doing like free coffee and
awesome,
free ice cream at the festival. So it's actually really cool and people definitely appreciate it. But obviously their angle is a bit more like, you know, wellness and that kind of thing, which is maybe not concepts that you normally associate with parties. But I guess that's just one example, but we've had a few of them actually.
That's a very creative way that we need to start thinking that angle. We can't just like nightlife means alcohol, then we stuck in a rut, right? Because one of my friends that are doing festivals, right, they are like trying to work with like another competitor of Aura Ring and then trying to sell it to Aura Ring, like, oh, this is like workout, people is dancing, and then you train the steps. Like, what the hell?
Right.
In my wildest imagination, I would never imagine that association, but somehow they managed to do that.
Oh, that's a real thing. I feel like people count their steps at festivals.
Yeah. I always check my health app afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, another one is like maybe you can do like earplug sponsor. Right now what's the earplug loops, right?
Loop.
Loops like aggressively.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know, something for the nightlife industry in general to keep exploring together is like maybe kind of rethink our business model on relying on income through hedonism. Like there's so many
hedonism as in like
alcohol.
Yeah.
Like
hedonistic behavior.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like. Yeah, because people associate nighttime with like vices, but there's healthy ways of going out to the club and dancing.
I like the Bougie Botanicals collaboration.
Bougie Botanicals,
with random
those
outlets.
guys.
And I see the guy delivering. Both times off track, I saw the guy. Just nice.
I mean,
he's one of our vendors.
Yeah.
And he do it himself.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So shout out to Brandon. He's quite a superstar for this year's Sunda. He's got a breakfast sorted for the
breakfast.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
For the second day, he's got. I mean, last time we did this, he was running to the stage and giving all the artists fruit and stuff. Such a sweet dude. But this year also, he's playing drums for Seppi Chill. He'll be all over the place. Keep a lookout.
So for our audience, right, they don't know what Bougie Botanicals is, right? Since you all work very closely, right, can you all give like a short intro? Is it like an alcohol replacement or something?
So they do like healthy elixirs. And I think they're usually inspired by like traditional recipes, like traditional type. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yep.
And it's non-alcoholic, but they're also serving like healthy vegetarian food and stuff like that, like healthy snacks, fruit, noodles.
I didn't know that. I thought they only do the drinks.
I mean, I think they've made a very conscious effort to get into the kind of music and party scene, just to show people that there's an alternative if you don't want to drink. And I think so they've been a long time partner of ours for both Ice Cream Sundays and now Sunda as well. And I think it's really important now to have choice. Like on our menu, you'll find like non-alcoholic drinks, like like your zero beers and things like that. But also like drinks that are more like Brendan's, more kind of like herbal style drinks. I think people just want choice, and I think it's important to provide it. So I think it's something that we've been working on over the last couple of years.
And I think it's very cool to note, right, that Bougie Botanicals got an upper and got a relaxer. They have like different looks, right? I drink the red color one like 3 cups in a row, right? I'm like, why is it not working? Then after 1 hour, I'm like, oh! And I was like filming a jamming set, like some chill place with Chris Walpole, right? And I was like, do you take all the red ones? But it was a very interesting experience, and like you don't have that crash after that. It was amazing. So more clubs should like take that up, right? So you like.
I mean, Kevin's actually starting with Rasa also. Like you can totally have a warm tea in a cold club. It's pretty nice.
I had tea last time actually.
Good, right?
Damn, I miss like Velvet, the wine bar, as in Zouk wine bar. Right? You can order like
order
hot
tea,
latte or some shit.
Got ice cream also. It's great. We don't even have ice cream at ICS anymore.
Without ice cream.
Sometimes
the main branding, right?
Not always.
But I think Rasa is an anomaly. Behind the Green Doors is an anomaly. They are very plugged into the community, so they know all this, But I think it's still not widely adopted. So I think it's good that clubs know of all these like non-alcoholic options, right? Then you can actually encourage people that want to party but don't want to drink who's that Boon Shao, right, was like introducing me to this dude, like, and then he wear like I think some sports band, and then his sports outfit at like those kind of like wristband, but it's like towel one.
Oh right.
Okay. And then he's at HQ, and then he's just like working out his ass. Yeah, it's like this guy is here like our regular, and he don't drink. I'm like, then he introduced me to this guy. I'm like, damn. We need more people like that to like come out. Like it's HQ. And road to Sunda was like the previous one, right? It is like a prelude. But how would you say it would differ, right, from this year's Sunda pre-party at Modular?
Totally different.
Totally different thing. So the pre-party is basically it's a club night, and we have 3 DJs playing. Headline is Antal, who we all adore. and we got Dean Chu and Muto opening. Yeah, so it's going to be really, really nice quality music.
I know Muto is like your favorite, man. You guys are like have him on a regular, like.
Yeah,
he's one of our residents.
Yeah. And Dean's fam, so
Yeah.
it's going to be special.
Yeah.
So Road 2 is kind of like proof of concept, something like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right. Then pre-party is like, okay, it's going to happen really, guys. It's just like,
Yeah.
warm up for you guys.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that, right?
Road to Sunda was just like basically to try and showcase everything that Sunda is in a smaller, more condensed format. I think we basically had a year and a half between the last Sunda festival and this one. So we didn't want to lose momentum. We wanted to kind of come back, but obviously in a kind of smaller way. And just like kind of remind people that we still exist.
Yeah.
And obviously hopefully get people excited for the main event as well. So that was very much like outdoor. There was live band, DJs, activities, the full kind of the full.
Polo was there.
Yeah.
Co-immersion.
So 17 pre-party, 18, 19 main festival at Serangoon Scouts Camp.
Yeah.
And it's like an overnight you can camp and stuff.
Yeah.
Damn, I keep forgetting what I want to say. And the most crucial part, I'm just but
well, lots different from last time round lah. Like for one, both stages end at 4. So did we go till 4 the first time around?
Just the
just one stage. Just one stage. We went till 4. This time we've got the food more right lah. I think. I think our food's pretty good. The options this year, something for everyone. Just a little bit more thoughtful programming and I think a bit better use of the space the second time around. Like last time we learned that the pavilion stage didn't sound as good, didn't really work well as a music stage in the daytime. So there's no more music going on. I mean, it's not a main stage. Now it's more of an activity area, place to chill out, and then there's a bit of an ambient lounge.
The pavilion maybe create a lot of clapback or something like that.
The space where we had that huge liquid light show in year 1, that's in all of our IG. It looked amazing. And we focused all our visual efforts onto that stage. But this year the main stage is the Jurong stage. So that's the one with live bands in the day, and then we progress into more of a
I remember what I said. So you have this solar powered speakers.
Are
you gonna put it there?
100%.
Almost like the how do you come up with the idea and why you decide to put in effort into this endeavor?
Nomad system.
So our partner Florian, he's based in Hong Kong. He runs the Shifu Miz Festival, but he's also the distributor for Asia for this brand Peaky. So they make these solar powered speakers in France that are really cool. They're modular. The model that we have is obviously on wheels, so it's mobile and then.
Is it wireless?
Hybrid.
Yeah.
So you can plug it in or not plug it in. Yeah.
You're Pioneer DJ before Pioneer DJ. You know the Wave 8s, right? It's but there's no latency or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's a digital system, but it's really good. Latency wise.
Right.
And sound wise. Yeah.
So we heard about it through him, and then he asked us if we were interested, and I think with what we were doing with Ice Cream Sundays initially, it kind of made a lot of sense. We're obviously a day party, right? So it was so it just it just seemed like a really good fit. And it's the first one in Singapore, so we figured other people might be interested in it too, and so we use it for our own events, but it's also available for especially brands that care about sustainability and that kind of thing. It's a natural
it looks really
fit
good on the entire pitch, all the small components of right things that you're doing.
I mean, we don't really want to say we're a sustainable festival, because obviously that's really hard to do with
just try your best to do good,
conscious
kind of thing.
consumption. But having said that, the Nomad, it can be fully powered by the sun, but if the weather is bad, you can also totally charge it from the grid. So it's not fully renewable energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just you have to have the option, right? And
Yeah.
especially in a tropical place like Singapore, where the weather can be unpredictable. So,
Yeah.
but it's great, and it sounds a lot more powerful than people probably think when they see the picture for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, I think we've powered a party of 800, 900 people with just that sound system before. So
For them,
yeah,
900 is a lot.
yeah,
It slams.
yeah.
For ice cream sundaes party, right? Is it like once every quarter, or is it like a monthly thing?
It's more like quarterly.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but like, you know, it'll be like 3-4 times a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Sunda, you'll try to do it as often as you can, probably once every year or once every other year.
Probably an iteration of it once a year.
Yeah.
So lastly, before we conclude this podcast, right?
Mm.
Previously, also again with Pongo,
Yeah.
right, we discussed the very difficult financial position, right, festivals are in, and so many festivals are like being cancelled. Yeah. So what is your outlook on this festival, and like how do you intend to grow it? Because festival is really like a long-term gamble. You know? Like even freaking Tomorrowland is like what, 10 years, then they got more people, right? You also start off like one small tent, then you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for us, I mean, we pride ourselves on being a kind of independent festival. So like, you know, we've not taken any kind of outside investment. That comes obviously with certain challenges in terms of, you know, you only have so much room to fail. I think the key is to be flexible in how you think about the festival. I think, you know, you want to have vision, but you also can't be too stubborn. So I think for us, like a big reason for doing the Road to Sunda format in October was really just to try something different, try a different format, try a different scale, and just see what the response is, right? And I think that was very successful for us. So, you know, it's obviously a very different experience to the Sarambun experience, but you know, we got similarly strong feedback from it. So I think for us, this is really we've been very honest that this is like a sort of make or break for the Sarambun version.
This one is make or break already.
Yeah, because I think you know the first time that you don't expect it to be very successful the first time. Financially, you're always learning about your costs, how to manage your costs, how much interest there really is there. So the second one is really, I think, where you kind of work out whether you want to pursue it long term or whether you want to kind of adapt the format. And I think that's why we were willing to experiment in October with something different. And it might not be either or. It could be it could be something where you do the Sarambun format once every 2 years, and then you do the smaller format in the years in between. So we're open-minded to what the kind of future format or formats of Sunda could look like. And I think that's the key to making it sustainable is not being too stubborn, but still trying to hold out for your vision.
Yeah.
And any more things for you guys to add?
I just think we're experimenting. Like it's early days, right? Formats is obviously a thing we gotta get right. The format has to be relevant to the market here, basically.
Yeah.
And like,
correct.
If it's just not what the market needs or wants, then try something different. You can't just keep shoving like
force feeding, right?
Force feeding, you gotta listen also.
I guess it's especially difficult for if you are like a purist, you know. Purists, I think, very hard to make money because it's like, hey, this shit is working in Visa. Let's try it in Singapore.
You can't just
it's in Singapore, man.
But at the same time, you can't just like only listen to feedback and just respond to it. Because I think one of the challenges we've had this year is we tried to change too many things at once and listen to everyone.
And lose the original flavor.
I wouldn't say we lost our flavor at all, but like we just kind of clouded our judgment a bit by trying to listen to everyone. And you can't do that. It's a balancing act.
What are certain things you cannot compromise?
Cannot compromise music quality. Cannot compromise community. Yeah, big ones.
But then it's like the rest is like you adapt to the market.
The rest outdoor also lah. I think we're outdoor, but we like to make things difficult for ourselves. So must be outdoor.
Okay, I know I'm supposed to end this, right? But I got so many questions. Okay, wet weather program how like that?
Rain or shine event, man.
There's a lot of sheltered spaces at the venue, so it's not. I mean, obviously we hope it won't rain, but like it's not going to be a
Yeah.
disaster if it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
compared to like a lot of the venues we use for ice cream sundaes, for
Mm.
example, like at Distri Park,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
it rained, and like,
It's
I mean,
hard.
there are building blocks next door where you can take cover, but like, there's nowhere in the event where you can take cover. So, I think actually at Sunda we're lucky that there's
There's
plenty
a
of
lot of cover.
infrastructure on site. Like
Mm.
the pavilion is no longer a stage, so if you want to just go there and chill and
Mm.
wait out the rain, there's things to do in there.
Yeah.
The food hall is entirely covered.
Yeah.
So I think we're quite fortunate with this particular venue.
But if it rains, the acts still continue playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stages
Yeah,
are all
I mean, unless
waterproof.
it's like
I mean,
a
yeah.
crazy storm and like trees are falling down and it's dangerous.
Yeah,
yeah.
why I say this, right, is because
Yeah.
it's like very relevant to me, right? Because I am Saturday resident at Nova. And it
Oh,
affect me every
yes.
bloody week, you know.
Yeah.
You're wide
The
open.
whole January, I'm not even playing there. I'm just like forever at the level 61 bar. You know?
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
stuck
yeah,
there
yeah.
for the whole entire January. Then
I mean-
for month of March, right, it's like 1 week no rain, 1 week
Heavy rain
one
must
week
be hella scary up there, right? Like,
no rain. The wind really is like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for today, guys.
Yeah, thanks
I
for having
hope
us.
Very much.
for the
Yeah.
success of 17, 18, 19, Sunda Pre-Party and Sunda Music Festival.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
see you there.